Hello everyone and welcome to our demo series Mastering the Foundation. I'm Kiran B. Krishnan, Product Manager for IBM Master Data Management. In this series, we are going to explore how we create a single trusted source of truth for your business. But before we dive into the application, we need to understand the DNA of our data. Today we are looking at core building blocks, which is called as data types that allow us to model your complex business world into a structured MDM environment. In IBM MDM, attributes are individual pieces of information that describe a particular data object. For example, if we look at a person like William Jones, his attributes can be demographic details like first name, last name, date of birth, gender, marital status, etc. Or it can be even calculated values like lead score that are originating from the source system. These attributes basically define specific characteristics we want to track for every record in the system. Now, in most of the organizations, data is scattered across different departments. And this brings us to record types. A record type is a source specific instance of data. Think of it as a raw material coming from your different systems. You might have William Jones in your CRM system, Billy Jones that's coming from your billing system, and perhaps even Barbara Jones in your marketing database. So these individual records often contain slight variations or even errors representing same person across the enterprise. Now let's see what are entity types. This is where the power of master data management really shines. An entity type is basically a resolved singular view of a record type. In MDM, we use matching and linking algorithms to recognize that the person William, Billy, and Barbara are all referring to the same person. It resolves these duplicate records into a single entity. Essentially, entity is your trusted unified version of truth that your business can rely on. Now, let's say you have mastered your customer data and you might want to establish logical connections between different records or entities, for which we have something called as relationship types in IBM MDM. For instance, we can create a relationship that shows William Jones is married to another entity in the system or that he is a parent of another individual. These relationships turn flat data into rich interconnected network which can be used for any analytics purpose. Sometimes we need to categorize our records for business logic. This is where we use group types. Groups allow us to cluster different record types based on shared characteristic. For example, you might create a group type for your premium customers or group for new prospects. This helps in segmenting your data for targeted marketing or specialized service workflows. Finally, we have hierarchy types. While relationships are often peer-to-peer, hierarchies represent structured multi-level arrangements. This is essential for modeling organizational structures such as manager to employee reporting line, or let's say corporate structure showing a parent company and its various subsidiaries. Hierarchies give you big picture of how your data entities are organized at scale. Now that we understand the building blocks, it's time to see them in real world. In our next section, we will move into a live demo. I'll show you exactly where these data types live within the IBM MDM interface and walk you through the process of creating your own attributes, records, and entity types. Let's dive in.
So now we look at how it works. I've navigated to data type section. So here we see various types of data and there are different kinds of attributes here. So attributes are basically characteristics or properties of your data that you want to define for a particular record type. So there are different types of attributes like address, telephone, etc. here. I'll create a custom attribute here, so I can create different kinds of attributes. Let's say like if you want to add a branch ID for a bank branch that you want to maintain, you can do that. I can even try to add something like a customer lifetime value for a particular customer. I define what kind of data type it is. So, for instance, here I am choosing it's some other type of identifier. And also, I can try to associate different fields under a particular attribute. So, here, customer lifetime value may consist of, let's say, if you're taking the example for a branch, it may have information like the number of years um, the customer has an account with the branch. So I'm creating number of years as one type of field value. And the other type of field value can be something like the total number of deposits that the customer has with the bank. So that can also be another field value that I can associate with customer lifetime value. So likewise, I can add different kinds of associated field and create an attribute which will group all these fields together. And there are other types of data types as well, like record types. So these are so by default we have person and organization. If you want to create custom record types, that is also possible. So let's take an example of organization and see how it works. So in the organization record type, there are different types of attribute defined under it. You can even try to create an entity out of this record type. So let's say like if I want to create uh, an entity view for enterprise customers, I can do that. I can even choose whether I want to persist this composite view that is created by this entity in the graph database or not. Then there are other types of data types as well. So like whenever you're trying to create all these entities, they fall under this section, entity types and matching. You can even see what are different associated record types there and what is a matching status for it. And then there is relationships as well, groups, hierarchy, etc., which we will dive more in detail in the upcoming section.